Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Good day, welcome to your main newscast for the first day of April in 2022. I'm Kevin Smith. Given the government's intention to develop the Stabroek Block's significant oil resources, U.S. Ambassador to Guyana, Sarah Ann Lynch, advised that the authorities adopt international standards and best practices to guard against the risks associated with unmitigated oil spills. With respect to our question on how Guyana can go about demanding insurance for oil spills, drawing on the lessons of the USA, the envoy said every company has its own rules and regulations. As such, it is hard to give a generalized answer. Be that as it may, she did note that each company in the USA has very strict rules to follow about what insurance they carry, so should something happen in their industry, they are covered. Meanwhile, when a commercial discovery is made, one of the next crucial steps for an oil company seeking to produce and sell the resource involves defining a field development plan. This document provides key information about the geology of the field, the commerciality of the oil find, steps to be taken to prevent a blowout or similar mishap, along with all the associated costs to extract and produce that oil. Now, various arms of the government, such as the Environmental Protection Agency, examine this document and ensure that the requisite protective measures are in place, the data provided is accurate, and the costs for production, as outlined, are not inflated. This was done in the case of the projects pursued by ExxonMobil and its partners in the Stabroek Block. Local content expert Anthony Paul has said on more than one occasion that in the interest of transparency and accountability, these field development plans should be made public. Paul categorically stated that the information contained in these documents allows citizens to be more informed about their resources and empowers them with the data they need to hold the authorities of the day accountable. And now let's tell you, an automated tolling system that the government paid some... My apologies. An automated tolling system that the government paid some $15 million for to set up at the Demerara Harbour Bridge will assist in reducing the traffic congestion around that area. At least this is the view of the general manager of the Demerara Harbour Bridge Corporation's Wayne Watson. This investment means that commuters will no longer have to stop and wait to pay their tolls at the bridge. Watson said that commuters will pay their toll via a radio frequency identification tag, but first they will have to be registered to a database linked to a mobile money account. A tag will be placed on the vehicles, and while approaching the toll stations on the eastern side of the bridge, tag scanners will scan the tag and the toll fee will be deducted automatically from their mobile money account. And now let's tell you, corruption is endemic in the petroleum sector, not just among license or rights holders, but among their partnering subcontractors and suppliers. That's why the Natural Resource Governance Institute, or NRGI, is encouraging Guyana and other oil-producing states to have rigid oversight over these companies. NRGI articulated that large oil, gas, and mining projects are usually associated with a few big names such as Shell, ExxonMobil, Rio Tinto, Gazprom, and Codelco. It said these are right holders, companies that receive licenses from host governments to extract resources. NRGI pointed to corruption risks in the operations of suppliers, including bribery, favoritism, and state capture. The non-governmental organization listed some key examples of corruption cases involving suppliers. Some of these suppliers are even in receipt of contracts for works to be done in Guyana. They are ExxonMobil, subcontractors like Saipem, Halliburton, and SBM Offshore. And now let's tell you, a 76-year-old man perished on Thursday after a fire destroyed his one-flat wooden and concrete home located at Bachelor's Adventure on the east coast of Demerara. The pensioner was identified as Charles Brown. Brown lived in the home with two other persons identified as Onika Lawrence Charles and 35-year-old Andrew Reed. According to a press release by the Ghana Fire Service, the house caught fire around 8 hours 20, trapping Brown inside. Fire trucks from the Melanie and Mahika fire stations, along with an ambulance, responded to the blaze. Firefighters managed to extinguish the flames but could not save the building from being destroyed or Brown's life. GFS stated that it is believed that the fire started from an unattended kerosene stove. The time has now moved on to 12 hours 10. We will take a short break and return with your news.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Enjoy free premium access to D-Music from March 25th to 31st. Discover 60 million local and international songs. Get playlists specially made to match your flavor. You can even download your favorite songs and albums. Plus, enjoy Coffee and Shensia's new albums fresh out the studio with free 2 gigabytes of data for D-Music every day. From March 25th to 31st, listen anywhere, anytime. So, what are you waiting for? Download D-Music now.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. Leader of the PNCR, Aubrey Norton, says that his party should be ready in 2 weeks to mount legal challenges to the controversial NRF Act and the appointment of Clifton Hicken to the post of Acting Commissioner of Police. The Natural Resource Fund Act, which was passed last December, attracted a lot of attention owing to the government's dominance on the board as well as other key committees. Civil society groups had expressed concern over the rushing of the NRF bill, which they claimed appeared to have given more control to the government and less oversight. Meanwhile, regarding the new acting top cop, Norton said that the opposition will be challenging Hicken's appointment on several grounds, one being that he is not qualified for the post. Norton said that when considering qualifications for the top cop, one assumes that these positions have a minimum required qualification. He said it becomes an issue when people senior to Hicken with the requisite qualifications are sidelined. In other news, as a measure of good governance and transparency, Attorney-at-Law Christopher Ram is adamant that the state must involve members of civil society into the decision-making process. The attorney insists that with the number of major projects on stream in Guyana, it would be instructive that a government committed to transparency would have no issue in allowing its peers within society to access and offer pertinent information regarding various developments. Ram suggested that it is not society's job to be chasing after information from the government that would inform and enable citizens to add toward project discussions taking place in the country. Moreover, the attorney insisted it is not the job of local professionals to be chasing after the government for information when it is clear that their input could be useful in ensuring better project outcomes. And moving on. Finance Minister Dr. Ashni Singh and officials from the Ministry of Finance on Wednesday met with a high-level World Bank team led by Country Director for the Caribbean, Lilia Barunchuk, and new resident representative of the bank, Diletta Doretti. The meeting served as an opportunity for dialogue on the government's economic objectives and priorities and potential opportunities for World Bank support through its assistance and lending programs, the ministry said in a press release. Elaborating on the various ongoing developmental projects and on government's policies, Dr. Singh placed emphasis on diversified economic growth, highlighting the desire for an increase in the private sector footprint of the International Finance Corporation. And moving on, a 15-year-old high school student is hospitalized in a serious condition after a drunk driver on Wednesday evening made a U-turn along the Vredenhoek Public Road, causing a multi-vehicular accident. The injured schoolgirl has been identified as Vedia Ishmael of Podrine, West Bank, Demerara. According to police, the accident took place around 22 hours and involved 4 cars, one of them driven by a drunk driver identified as Kemraj Narain. Traffic investigators reported that Narain's car was reportedly parked facing a westerly direction beside the road, but suddenly made a U-turn into oncoming traffic. As a result, a higher car collided with Narain's car. The driver of the higher car then lost control and crashed into 2 other cars. Ishmael was an occupant in one of the cars and sustained severe injuries.
Nothing in life is free, but the My Digicel app is. You don't need to be on a data plan to use the app. You can conveniently chat with Ruby or an agent for help. Check your account balance, activate a Prime bundle, or gift it to a friend. Send credit. Check the Georgetown and Burpees Bridge schedules. Activate a roaming plan. Play Shake to Win for cool prizes. So don't worry about a data plan, buddy. Download the My Digicel app from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store today. Digicel, better together.
According to UK-based transparency watchdog Chatham House, it is quite reasonable and even considered normal practice in the petroleum industry for countries to engage oil companies in the review and removal of terms contained in deals which may leave the country in a disadvantageous position. In fact, the not-for-profit organization said the refusal to do so can have a destabilizing effect on countries. And now we wrap things up with the page 7 of the Kaieteur News. Addiction, we can all agree, is a major problem that our society, like many others, faces. While there are many in our society who struggle with substance abuse, there are those who are addicted to greed. This is especially worrying when the greed is directed to our God-given wealth. In the same way those with substance abuse problems need help, we at Kaieteur Radio and Kaieteur News believe that those who thrive on greed are also in need of dire help. Indeed, we have already taken up the mantle to helping those suffering. By exposing instances of greed, we believe that the culprits will eventually be rehabilitated to the point of doing right to this nation. Our only motivation is to set the pace for a progressive and prosperous Guyana for generations to come. And with that, we've come to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or